Welcome to the Live Life Show. What a beautiful teacup and saucer I got here. As you know, my name is Victoria Rose, and this is my very last episode on Turkey, and I'm really excited to show you what I saw when I was in Izmir and when I was in Istanbul. Now, the biggest drama was wanting to get the very best images for you, but I know that you probably wouldn't want to sit through all of them. So the biggest thing is to find beautiful images that will enthrall you and let you know what is available. Should you decide, when we can travel, should you decide to go to Turkey? Now, talking about going to Turkey, I've decided to be very colourful today. What do you think? It's my show and I can go colourful if I want to. You know, how else can you live a fearless life of remarkable joy if you don't decide to have fun? And if you want to go colourful, then you just go ahead and do it. But let me just share now the video. As you know, I always do, so that I can just go through it as quickly as possible. I always do a pre-recorded video. Please listen to my show, enjoy the wonderful, joyous, and remarkable life that I had when I was in Turkey. This is the Live Life Show, and today in episode 8 we will go from Izmir to Istanbul in Turkey. Izmir, what an amazing place. It's the third largest city in Turkey and has a population of around 4 million. It's a city on Turkey's Aegean coast known as Simna in antiquity. It was founded by the Greeks, taken over by the Romans, and rebuilt by Alexander the Great before becoming part of the Ottoman Empire in the 15th century. How come I was experiencing this amazing city, Izmir? Well, it's all thanks to Binur. I'm here for just over a week, and I've got this volunteer gig through the Workaway platform that I've mentioned before, workaway.info. Binur, amazing Turkish woman, she took me to this incredible baths, and not the ones that you go to as a tourist. She took me to the local peasants or local women's baths, and I'm sort of stuck a little bit because the experience that's something I'm not going to share here, but it absolutely was an experience, and it certainly wasn't necessarily one of full relaxation. But as you know, I boast about wanting to do what the natives, whichever country I'm in, whether it's the UK, whether it's France, whichever of those countries I'm in, I want to do what the natives do to have an understanding of their culture. Well, I really got an understanding of the culture when I went to this incredible experience with Binur. This is what parts of Izmir look like. How gorgeous is this? Look at that cobbled street, these cutest little boutique places. Cars actually go up this street as well, but very slowly and only if they have to. Walk around and you come to this one of many places that are farmers markets, and you can buy incredible fresh fruit and vegetables for a very affordable price. The other thing I really liked about Izmir were the incredibly colourful and innovative doors. Just have a look at the one on the right and look at how they decorated their door. There's absolute pride in this home, and I like the one on the left very much as well. These are just two examples of the pride that the Turkish people that live in this area have for their homes. This day was a super, super duper rainy day. It was virtually flooding everywhere. Binur took me to this huge market. We're up on that first floor now, and all of those windows are all different types of shops. And if you just look at the bottom of the image, and you can sort of see someone walking by and some sort of light there. What an array, an incredible maze of stalls and places to buy things that I never actually saw anywhere else in all my travels. So we had a lot of fun here. Of course, the thing that kept me totally focused on not spending a lot of money was, number one, the fact that I'm on a mission to prove it's possible to travel and live overseas on an Australian age pension. And I totally did prove that. Tempted many times, though I was, to go over my daily budget. One day, the nurse said, let's go over the mountains to the other side. And so we did. Look at this. How incredible. This is, or there you can see is Urla. And this is what Urla looks like when you're up close. Look at this cutest little place to have some lunch. Now, look, it was cold. There's no doubt everyone was rugged up. Reminded me very much of Melbourne, actually. Isn't this a gorgeous, a totally postcard, picture perfect image? It was a glorious day, and even though I was rugged up, I had two beanies on and my boots and my duffel coat and everything else, I was still so very, very happy to be in Izmir, to meet Binur and to meet some of her friends and to have the experience that I had there. It was special indeed. Thank you, Binur. From Izmir, as I've already said, I got on that overnight bus, another overnight bus, to Istanbul. Well, in Istanbul, I fortunately chose a hostel where I was not even a 5-minute walk from this place. So 3 nights in the whole 3 months of living and traveling around Turkey, these are the only 3 nights that I paid for accommodation. Oh, the Sophia Hagia. What an incredible historical place to visit. It's an absolute landmark, and as you can see, everyone else thinks so too. There totally is a queue, and the queue is very long, all depending what time of the day that you go there. It is worth every single cent to go to the Sophia Hagia, and I totally recommend that if you are in Turkey, you must go here. Look at this huge door, and as you walk inside, your eyes just don't know where to look next. There's an incredible mixture of the religions. There are beautiful, artistic, colourful, meaningful things for you to just walk around and be lost in the beauty and the meaning of this place. And they had their cats. There's this little mother cat, and she had her kittens there, and she was being looked after, as indeed were the kittens. So you can go upstairs to the next level, and I did, and I saw this. Now clearly this is a copy, but imagine when that is, or when the real one, imagine the cost of that. It's actually hard for me to imagine what a jewel encrusted dagger would actually cost now. The Topkapi Dagger. Oh, it was just glorious to look. And talk about looking, I looked through one of the many windows, and just across I saw where I'm going to go next, and this is the Blue Mosque. Now, the Blue Mosque is an operating mosque. So they have laws there that aren't in place with the Sophia Hagia, because that is now a museum. It's no longer a mosque. But as I walked across to the Blue Mosque and then walked in, once it was made sure that I had the appropriate coverings on, and I waited in that huge queue. Look at the intricate details of the ceilings, of the walls, just majestic beauty. And here we have the front part of the mosque, the part where women cannot go. So this is where the only men can go. The women, if they want to pray and do what they would like to do to honor their religion, they're right at the back of the mosque in a little room there and doing what they need to do to honor their faith. In the middle is this. This is an area where men and women can go. And there were other things to see in this mosque, this solid marble column. It was huge. How did they do that? There are so many things to see and do in Turkey, and I just saw a very small part of them. Walking up the main street, once I left the Blue Mosque, here we have this gentleman, and he was so happy. And when I motioned to him, could I take the photo? I always asked. I think it's disrespectful and incredibly rude to take photos of the local people without asking their permission. Is it okay? And he was more than happy for me to take his photo. You know, when I arrived in Istanbul after another long overnight bus trek, I was possibly at the end of my tether just for a bit. I was cold, it was dark. We're looking at the end of January now, and or becoming dark, and I needed to catch. So I got off the bus, the overnight bus, but then how do I get from where I was to where I needed to be in the hostel? I'm standing in the train station, or light rail, I guess we would call it. And of course, everything's in Turkish. Of course it is. And do many people in Turkey speak English? Well, in Istanbul, you'd be more than likely to find someone that does, but a lot of people don't. So I'm standing, I'm carrying my heavy backpack and trolley bag. I'm feeling smelly, dirty, terribly unattractive, downright ugly. And I was probably on the verge of having a pity party because I could not read it was all in Turkish. I could not read how to get the ticket to get on the train to get down to where my hostel was. So I'm there, and all of a sudden, this angelic voice from behind me said, "Can I help you?" And I turned around to see this Turkish man, probably about the same age as this guy, very well dressed in a suit. And he said again, "Can I help you?" And I nearly burst into tears. Oh my gosh. I said, "Yes, I need to get to blah, blah." He said, "Follow me." He paid for my ticket. He carried my backpack. And then he took me to where I needed to get off to get to the hostel, and made sure that I got through the gate. And you know, it's things like that. In Australia, we're so isolated. And because some of us only consume what's on the news and what other people say, and I know I'm saying this, but this is my experience. Only for that whole 16 months did I get a negative reaction from a stranger. Okay, someone that just looked at me and thought, "Ugh, tourist, you know, you're a lower being." So I was very fortunate. And so on the second night of being there, I decided to go up to the Grand Bazaar, and I walked by this church, and there's the graveyard there with the tombstones. Can you see the cat sitting up the top? Such arrogance, looking at you going, and who are you to disturb my time here? Move on, human. So I did move on, and this is just one shot from the bazaar. It looks like there are not many people here, but trust me, there were many people there. And not only were there many people there, those that had stalls there wanted you to buy stuff. Of course they did. And because there's so much choice, they had to grab you. And some people did physically grab you, which I didn't like. As you were walking by, they wanted to bring your attention to what they had in their area. Quite frankly, it was just too much for me, and I didn't stay there for very long. And one of the things I'd say is, especially when the carpet guy tried to sell me something, I just looked at him, and he did speak a bit of English, and I just said, doesn't fit in my backpack. After that, I jumped on that light rail because I knew what to do now, because I got help from the hostel, and I went to one of the main streets. And in a moment, I'll remember what this main street is. It was jam-packed and buzzing and happy and full of light and glitter, and you could go to the movies there. There were all sorts of wonderful places you could walk into. I loved this street. Now, there are a number of reasons why I love this street, and here's one of those reasons. So this street is called Beyoğlu. Now, I know I'm not saying that right, but it's something like that. Look at this chocolate. Of course I bought the chocolate. What sort of a person would I be if I didn't support the locals? I bought some of the chocolate, and I can tell you I only bought 2 blocks, and there wasn't long before I wished I'd bought a heck of a lot more. But people were so friendly. It was a glorious experience in Istanbul, and also it was an easy place to be, an easy place to buy food that was affordable. Sure, it was more expensive than Izmir and Antalya and Cash and Kalk and all of those other places. It was still based on what I would pay for a meal here in Australia. Now, we're not talking silver service. It was still very, very affordable. The day came, though, because I was only in Istanbul for 3 nights, when I had to leave. So I took all my stuff to the airport, and I did a really dumb thing at the airport. Oh my gosh. But somehow I got away with the dumb thing that I did. And I did think to myself, oh, should I be going home now? Has it been too long? Am I starting to weary? But no, that moment passed. Here I am at the airport and just getting a bite to eat. And I loved this idea. In this particular restaurant in the international airport in Istanbul, they were supporting local women and their produce. So you could open up the menu, and in a particular part of the menu, they would highlight these women and what they were offering that was available on the menu. And it was probably my best ever meal, where I felt that it was healthy and that I was supporting the locals. It was a great experience as I sat in that plane. Moving on to my next direction, my next destination, I just had to say goodbye, Turkey. It's been a heartful experience. Thank you. Welcome back. I wanted to show you, this is the scarf, the colourful scarf that I bought when I was in Izmir. Do you know, and I haven't seen another beautiful scarf exactly like this. Aren't the colours just beautiful? And you see, the good thing about scarves are they don't take up a lot of space and they're very light. Talking about clothing, people have said, what's the deal with what you're wearing in the picture that's at the very front? Well, I am a sultana in that picture. One of the pictures that I did not get to show you, or one of the places I couldn't share with you, was when I went to this place called the Basilica Cisterns. They're just across the road, literally, from the Sophia Hagia. And you go down these stairs to the deep, dank, dark underground, and there are these magnificent columns that they've lit up, and you walk through. It's freezing cold, and they describe to you what it was like with all the water. You walk through, there's a crying column, there's Medusa's head, and all of that really interesting, very different stuff. So what about the Sultana outfit? Okay, when you come out, of course, there's always a photo opportunity, and I normally don't take them, but I kind of like dressing up, you know. I don't know if you do too. And I could pick my outfit. Oh, it was so tough. Which one would I choose? It was a tough gig, and but I had to choose quickly because there was a queue. So that's the outfit that I chose, and it was just so much fun. So there you have it. That is episode 8, season 6, and all about Turkey. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed giving to you, creating for you. Want to have a look at my other live streams? It's pretty easy. They're the videos on YouTube now. So just go to youtube.com/Victoria Rose solo travel. There were over 50 videos there, and most of them I've actually done whilst I've been in the country. Please like my Over 60 Still Fabulous page, follow my personal profile, and let's have a look at the possibilities that are available in our world today if we would but look for them. If we're walking around with the blinkers of fear on and our vision gets smaller and smaller, then we cannot see even one of those possibilities, those opportunities. Now, as you know, I always have a heart. Now, normally it's a little rotating heart. When I first started, it was a sequined heart. But now, here I am in Upper Mount Gravatt, so broadcasting live from Queensland, Australia. And look, my charming host said, look what I've got, Victoria. So I heart you today. And as I always say, the world needs more heart. We need to operate more from our heart, and we will get through these difficult, unprecedented times that we are enduring now. So what about the heart key for this episode? And the heart keys I share at the end of every one of the Live Life show, because you need those heart keys and you build upon them, heart key after heart key, and then that will create the possibility, the pure potentiality of you living a fearless life of remarkable joy. So what is the heart key for this episode? B or B? B or B? In this life, stuff happens, and a lot of it we actually would prefer hadn't happened, but it has. Now, how you will move through life, whether or not you will live a fearless life of remarkable joy, depends upon which B you choose, B or B. So it's your choice, bitter or better. You always have a choice, and oftentimes many choices. It's up to you because you are the one in control of your life, yes or yes. It is up to you to decide. How will I proceed from now? And know it is in your hands. Your life is entirely in your hands. Bitter or better? What do you choose? I wonder. I'm determined, and I'm not saying I always do this, but my intention is to have a look at my reactions, my actions, what course to take. My intention is to live a fearless life of remarkable joy, and to do that, I need to make a choice that is better. What do you think? Have you enjoyed this episode? I'm not telling you what my next country is, but you will find out next week. Thank you so much for joining me, Victoria Rose, on the Live Life Show.